saw me in the crowd, they were calling last call. I was lost in the noise, oh my. But you opened my eyes, yeah, the story of hope began that night. Without a clue of what's coming next, was I guided by hands I couldn't see? Was it written somewhere, part of a plan? I had these thoughts in my head. Can you make it make sense? How a heart can burn with joy, then suddenly feel cold. Still I trust there's more to know. Feels like my head's underwater, but you're there at the surface, lifting me through the doubt. Can you make it make sense? How a heart can heal again when the fire never ends.
Do you remember that night, you and me in the dark? The rain was pouring outside. Days turned into months, but I felt your hand. I knew I would be alright, without a clue of what's coming next. But you're still leading with each and every step. Is it written somewhere, a part of your plan? I have these thoughts in my head.
Can you make it make sense? How a heart can burn with joy, then suddenly feel cold. Still I trust there's more to know. Feels like my head's underwater, but you're there at the surface, lifting me through the doubt. Can you make it make sense? How a heart can heal again when the fire never ends. I know this love is forever, and I feel you changing me. Now it's all in your hands.
How could I love someone who once felt like a stranger? Still I believe in your plan.
Even when it doesn't make sense.
Makes sense how a heart can burn with joy, then suddenly feel cold. Still I trust there's more to know.
Feels like my head's underwater, but you're there at the surface, lifting me through the doubt. Can you make it make sense? How a heart can heal again when the fire never ends.
Found myself in a cardboard box, feelings hidden deep down. I found us back, now I can't escape. All you're not gonna get rid of. I linger as the ground shakes. Paper cuts on what could have been. Every morning made us better. If only you'd known it when you had me. You had to call me a bad name. You call me with a sad face. Promised shelter, but walls were thin. Then carried me without caution. Want something else, but I end up here. You give me no other option. feeling. Paint a picture for me. 'Cause all I see are shades of gray. Show me what your eyes are seeing. Electric blue. Who am I to you? And are we built to last? Will you stay for good? Are you from the past? Like feel like I've known you before. Name the time and the place. You can count on me to be there. I travel far and wide to meet you. Tell me you're here for good this time. Fast and strong, just like you. I know it's always been you. It's always been you. Electric blue. Who am I to you? And are we built to last? Will you stay for good? Are you from the past? Like feel like I've known you before. Electric blue. Who am I to you? And are we built to last? Will you stay for good? Are you from the past? Like feel like I've known you before. I've been away for one more patience time. How could I've gotta know where you're at. The mirrors don't talk back. Leave it blank. Caught on each side. Only reflections apart, but never more. I've been away for a while. Only way I'm getting by. One was at the time. Why I got my demons on the shelf, like the trophies I can carry with me through the years. Yeah, I'm too sick of myself. I'm too sick of myself. For someone having nothing much to spare. Make it make sense for someone who needs help. Yeah, I'm asking for a friend. Asking for a friend. Asking for a friend who has gone off the deep end. I know it's late, but we said we would meet here. Why don't you come down? One little sip of air will do you good, and you better believe it. You've been shut indoors for no reason. I could use a friend right now. Can we be friends for now? wasn't I?